Well, a new Netflix documentary is doing what all documentaries do. It's supposed to be interesting, it's supposed to be compelling, and it tells the dramatic parts. Otherwise, it doesn't work so well. That's exactly what we all expect, I would assume, from a documentary. And Netflix has a documentary, a series called Any Given Saturday. And I would think, look, you have to be kind of a football fan and a nerd, in particular an SEC nerd, to really like it. But the goal is the same. The template is going to be exactly the same, whether it's a football documentary or anything else. And that is be interesting and be compelling and tell the dramatic parts. Well, sure enough, guess who's mad? The Aggies. Aggies fans. And I didn't know this until today. I didn't think of the term until today, but I guess it's a thing. Aggie Media. So here's the headline from a site called, what is this called? Gig'em something or other. Not exactly the bastion of objectivity, but I don't think it's that far off. And by the way, I'm going to say this up front. I get, and I think it's going to increase, and it's not just A&M. I get being sick of the Texas media love, the Texas Arch Manning media love. That brand is super hot right now, and it is the noise of the day. And I don't think it's going to be just A&M and Caldwell that gets sick of hearing of it. I think it's going to be most of the league. So it's understandable. There is a solution, though. But here's what, and I think this is probably a feeling that is going to be throughout the SEC. They're the coolest brand and you're not. And you're going to get sick of hearing about it. Says Netflix's SEC, Any Given Saturday shortchanges A&M by highlighting the Ags' low points. Okay, don't have them would be a pretty good answer. So, look, if you've been out of shape about a documentary about the last season, the build-up to this season will make your collective heads explode. All right, if you're whining about the documentary that's coming out about and it focuses on last season as a setup to this season, your head is going to explode in Aggie world because the love affair with the Texas and Arch Manning brands is dominating the sport in the media space. It is. No argument. And it's going to get louder. And the love affair is going to get more and more and more. You can't, honestly, you really can't go a single minute or click without the Texas-Ohio State game being hyped. It's being called the biggest season opener ever. And I don't know that that's wrong, but the noise is really starting to get to programs around the league, and the noise is really obviously bothering Texas A&M already, and they feel like nobody gets us, nobody understands us, you don't tell the right story of us, that kind of stuff. And stop whining. Stop. By the way, Yahoo has an entire section. I just noticed this at 3:35 this morning. The Yahoo Sports section, which is a big deal, has an entire blocked off section of Yahoo Sports for college football. And guess what that entire section is? It has, like 4 or 5 bullet points of stories. What do you think that would be? It's a section dedicated entirely to Arch Manning stories. They're not going to miss out, right? We're in the engagement business. We're in the click business. We're in the viewer business. And that brand and that brand of Arch Manning is just giant. So I said yesterday, my industry, the media space, is fawning over him. And it's true. It's true. And it's probably nauseating, not just for the Aggies, but especially for the Aggies. Because you already must feel like you're living a nightmare. But, here's the thing about whining about how you are portrayed. In this particular case, sorry, Aggies, you served yourself up for this. But this is anybody whining about how you are portrayed. Okay? And I think this is a lame argument they're putting out. I would say this of anybody, but you got to own it. You got to own it. The idea, this is ridiculous in college sports. It's ridiculous of fans. It's certainly ridiculous of coaches. They're out to get us. In this case, it's not even they're out to get us if you're the Aggies. It's they don't tell the good stories about us. You know what? There weren't many. What are you talking about? You haven't earned many. The facts are that the Texas A&M football program, and I was a buyer for half the year. I was over my skis for half a year. I was one who was burned by you falling on your face the second half of the season. I liked what I was seeing with Texas A&M the first half of the season. Hell, at mid-season, almost mid-season, I had Mike Elko, even with a giant shirt that's weird. I had Mike Elko as the front runner for the coach of the year. But when you fall on your face when everyone's watching, don't expect them to suck up to you and tell a friendly story. And Netflix did not tell a friendly story. In fact, they pretty much said, you don't matter. That hurts. The Texas brand, and this is what's irritating A&M for sure, and really going to irritate the rest of the league. The Texas brand has never been bigger. They're at the top of the food chain in money, and they're at the top of the food chain in cool Austin vibes. A lot of that stuff has had gas poured on it by the biggest name the sport has seen in decades. Agree or disagree, like it or not, fair or unfair, it is a media love fest with the last name Manning. He comes from football royalty, so it's not that surprising. Most people can't name a single player, even in the media space. I'm not sure much of the media, certainly on the national level, can name a single player other than Arch Manning. But Texas is the most talked about team in the sport, and it's not even close. It's the biggest brand. It's the coolest brand with the coolest guy. I'm not saying they're the most logical pick to win a championship. I wouldn't even do that. I'd say it's Penn State. But Penn State doesn't get buzz. They're not cool. There's not a vibe. There's not a famous person. There's not royalty playing quarterback. So all of the oxygen, and man, the Aggies are snapping at this, all of the oxygen is sucked up by the cool factor of Texas. That's the way it is right now. And there is a fix. There's a fix. So the Aggies are offended by how they were portrayed by Netflix. Assuming that this is sort of the backdrop of this is how you're offended by the Texas hype. I get it. You're offended by the Arch Manning obsession. Get it. Fix it. Fix it. Texas A&M. Forget everybody else for a second. Texas A&M is the one complaining about how they're portrayed in Netflix. I've said it before, and I'm going to triple down on this now. You have a branding problem. You're not showing up on the stage. Okay? And you have no one else to blame but yourself for that. Here's what the Gig'em Gazette, Brandon reads the Gig'em Gazette, not just for positive stories about A&M, but also food reviews of the Caldwell area. He's a big fan of Applebee's. All right, here's what it says. Something that Texas A&M football fans have been looking forward to for quite some time, along with many SEC fans, is the recently released documentary by Netflix called SEC, Any Given Saturday. Have you been looking forward to it? I really haven't. I think it's fairly predictable, but okay. What Aggie fans have found, though, is that the great stories of A&M's season were shortchanged in Netflix's coverage of their season. Netflix highlighted portions of the Aggies' fall were the most painful moments of the year for Texas A&M football fans. But given the anticipation that Aggie fans had for this documentary, it's disappointing. Well, too damn bad. I mean, are you kidding me? You wrote this? Are you in third grade? There's a connection. I told you, what are documentaries trying to do? They're trying to be compelling. They're trying to be interesting. They're trying to be dramatic. You didn't do anything good enough. Sorry. It's kind of a thing. And I liked where you're going about 3 or 4 games. And then guess what you did? You fell on your face. Okay, so you're disappointed in how you were portrayed. Of course, the 4 overtime game against Auburn was shown. You pretty much had to expect that. The South Carolina game was also spotlighted. Yeah, you got your ass kicked. Don't do that. Texas A&M's time, it goes on to say, Texas A&M's time in the limelight was shown in the lead up to their game against Texas, where the defense was given respect but shown to ultimately not be enough to get them over the hump. Because your offense was trash. I mean, you got worked. Netflix is not out to get you. That's one of the most absurd positions I've heard. Wah. The documentary did show, briefly, the Aggies' victory against Florida, but it was from the Gators' perspective, and not much time was spent there. This was simply a missed opportunity for Netflix, and one that will surely be a burr in the saddle of A&M fans. Oh my gosh, nobody says that under the age of 85. Don't do this. I mean, just don't. It is understandable. One more time, it is understandable for everybody, in particular Aggies, to just be nauseated over the Texas hype, the love, the media obsession. You know, it's just, the brand is giant. It's sexy now. It's all the cool kids are there. I mean, it's all that stuff. The money is giant. Austin is cool. All that stuff. Yeah. You're tired of it. But you got to fix yourself. You've got to fix yourself. So I said they have a branding problem, and it's their own fault. Got it? It's your own fault. You keep missing chances to not be to not be somebody other than, I don't know who they are. You know, the public doesn't know who you are because you're not earning the branding. The Texas A&M culture and brand is never going to be the Texas brand. That's pretty obvious. The Aggie world likes it that way, and that's okay. But here's the thing. Whining about how you're portrayed by Netflix, the Netflix documentary, is lame. What would you like them to do? I know, well, I shouldn't even ask that. Obviously, whatever Gazette Gazette wants you to do is he wants you to tell a positive story. You haven't earned enough. You haven't earned enough. You got to cut through the clutter. You got to break through. You got to matter on the big stage. You got to do something with some star power to matter. Right? Or otherwise you're going to get stuck whining about how everyone doesn't get you and how everyone doesn't understand you. Own this, okay? This is real simple. Own this. This was a disappointing ending to a 2024 season. It doesn't matter what you look like against Missouri a year ago. It doesn't matter that you beat some directional schools. It doesn't matter that you were tired or injured or blah, 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 blah. The way you finished, and more importantly, the way you play on the biggest stages against the biggest brands is what is going to define you with the public. You want Netflix to think you're cool? Win some cool games. The public doesn't know you because you're not earning it. Okay? Netflix gave a highlight of A&M getting rolled by South Carolina. Well, guess what? They did. They got drilled. Absolutely drilled. According to everyone's favorite Gig'em Gazette Gig'em, or whatever it is, Netflix gave little attention to the home game against Texas in a game that was the biggest stage. I think I said it the week before A&M and Texas played, and I'll keep saying it, just like everything else, you've got to cut through the clutter on the biggest stage. You've got to win big games. You've got to look cooler. You've got to make people pay attention. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in this place, constantly whining about how everyone doesn't see you. You're right, they don't see you. You're not earning it. Okay? Here's the thing. A&M, an anticipated game for A&M, an anticipated game for a lot of people in the state of Texas. But for the rest of the country, they don't give a flip. You know what they give a flip about? Drama. Famous people, sexy stories, cool brands. That's what the rest of the country cares about. And Texas is the coolest guy with the biggest name. But when you had a chance to play, when you had them at your home field, you were a non-factor. You didn't show up. It was boring. It wasn't well played. No one cared outside of Texas. A&M was completely shut down on offense. So complaining about how you were portrayed in the Netflix documentary is ridiculously lame. And the reality is you can only change the perception by what you do. And not just that, what you do on the biggest stage. The public doesn't care about directional schools. The public doesn't care about you in South Carolina. The public, honestly, most of the public and media don't care about A&M and Auburn and fill in the blank. You've only got a few opportunities on the biggest stage where people care. And they get them again. You do. Right? It works like this. And this is true of any program. Any program frustrated that Texas is getting all the love, that Texas is taking up all the oxygen, that Texas is the coolest brand with all the stars. You have every right to be jealous and nauseated. But to break through, A&M's got a few chances. And every time you don't break through on one of those chances, you disappear some more. And you're going to complain some more. And Netflix is going to care less and less and less until you are a disruptor. Okay? Texas has the cool factor and the star power. And as of now, A&M doesn't have much of it at all. That can be fixed. When you get the stage, you have to win. You have to be the disruptor. Got it? You have to be the disruptor. Otherwise, you're going to be glossed over publicly. Got it? A&M's got a few breakthrough games that everyone's going to pay attention to. That's it. Okay? It's sorry. You can whine about it, you can complain about it, but that's life on the stage. The brand isn't that big, so the brand has to earn it. You get Notre Dame. I mean, you get two of the biggest brands in front of you. You get two of the biggest brands in the sport. There's your chance to be a disruptor. If you want Netflix to tell a story, if you want the talk shows to tell a story, earn it. Beat a big brand like Notre Dame. Beat a big brand like Texas. Till then, you're going to be forgotten. Right? A&M gets a few chances. And they're lucky because they get to play two of the biggest and coolest brands in the sport. Notre Dame and Texas, big brands, cool coaches, big star power. Everyone knows them. Everyone's talking about them. And if A&M wants to be talked about and A&M wants to be looked at differently and everyone to start to care and start to get them, instead of whining about you don't get us, beat Notre Dame. Do it. Force people to talk. Find a way to beat Texas and have a better showing. It was awful a year ago. So they get their chances. If you want to be talked about and you want to matter, you have to win. It doesn't necessarily have to be flashy because they don't have famous, flashy players right now. But you win, people will talk. You lose to Notre Dame, you lose to Texas, you are in brand obscurity again. And then you're going to be stuck complaining about it. I mean, this whole they don't get us act. I mean, I know it's kind of small town media thing. It's kind of small town fan kind of thing. But, you know, you're really complaining about the entire country not getting you. So the act of they don't get us is pretty lame and meaningless. The rest of the country doesn't care until you make them. Okay? I mean, what's true of the entire SEC and anyone who wants to point at Texas, it's true. They have built-in factors A&M and practically everybody else doesn't have. They've got the built-in star power and the cool city with the cool guy. Okay? And you ought to probably get really sick of it. But to win, you have to break through. Right now, they don't have a star, so you have to break through just by winning. Stop talking and win when we're watching. It's like being the warm-up band. You know, you're pissed off you're the warm-up band. Change it. Every team in the SEC is going to get tired of the Texas and Arch Manning media love and hype. Yeah. It's going to be almost insufferable to most. Heck, it's August and it's insufferable to most people now. But you're not going to get to match the Texas vibe. The brand is in a great place. It's at the top of the food chain, but you got to win. If you want to quiet the noise, you want to change the narrative, you want to make Netflix or anybody else pay attention, A&M or anybody else in the league, win. Win big games. Win big games in cool ways. There. That'll change. Till then, shut up. Just shut up. And own if you don't earn it. Here's what I want you to keep in mind. If you're injured by the negligence of someone else or you have any sort of issue with the insurance company, I can tell you this from experience. You need DJC Law. And I can tell you, having been a client of theirs, they will do three things. They'll take care of every single detail. You'll get peace of mind working with them, and you will get the result you deserve. That's the way it works with DJC Law. Check out teamjustice.com, and you'll see thousands of 5-star reviews. Look, the bottom line is, and trust me on this, the bottom line is if you're injured by the negligence of someone else, fighting with the insurance companies for any reason, you need DJC Law, and Dan Christensen and his team of lawyers at DJC Law have a remarkable track record. Go to teamjustice.com or call 512-888-9999. That's 512-888-9999.